Hey guys, it is Koozie with the Contraband Esports Network bringing you a 1v1 today between Rosowy playing the Red Terran, and in the blue we got EGIdra, also known as Draw here at CESN. People not really digging that, so we were just going to go ahead and call him Idra, because that is his name after all. Guys don't want to give him any street cred, that's cool, but whatever. Got some ranks here for you guys. At the time of this recording, Idra was 25th in the US and Rosowy was 37th in the EU. Right now, SC2 ranks is really not pulling its weight, and I have asked around, and it is not just my computer. They are really slacking. Something's going on with their servers or something, so SC2 ranks get well soon, because we need to know ranks of players. Always helpful to have, but hope you guys have been enjoying the E3 casting that's been going on all over television. This is a break for you guys from that, because everybody knows that no matter what E3 pulls out of the hat this year, it is not going to beat Starcraft 2, and particularly not Starcraft 2 replays. So yeah. Well, let's get into this game. Last game we saw EGIdra, if you watched it, expand pretty early, and he is known for his macro, so we should see that from him again. Wouldn't be too surprised at all. Rosowy is somebody we have not seen on this channel quite yet, so it'll be interesting to see what he goes with, although most Terran players these days go with the main Marauder balls with the medevac, so would not be surprised if we see that from him at all. We're on Metalopolis today. We have cast this map before. 2 Cesnetwork towers in the middle, as well as 2 high yields. Most action is going to run through the middle today because players are on opposite sides of the map. There are only 4 spawn points on this map, worth mentioning, very quickly and easily to get scouting on your opponent. So we are probably not going to see, it's not going to take either player too long to find the other. Wouldn't be too surprised at all. This is a fairly old game for those of you who aren't aware. SC2 replays is also having some trouble lately, so hard to get information today. It feels like everybody is out watching E3 and just letting the internet sort of slowly die in terms of gaming, which is very sad. Not something we're accustomed to. Hard to function, but we will get by. This is going to be a very good game. I've been told by many people. A couple people sent this one in for me and said you gotta do this one. So we will check it out. A lot of people like EGIdra, so hopefully he will do well today, but I am psyched to see what Rosowy's got for him. So take a look at the production tab. We see a factory coming out from Rosowy. Normally we're gonna, we got a drone coming in here. What did he see? Take a look at Rosowy's vision. All he saw really was the barracks and factory going up, so nothing too much there. Meanwhile, Rosowy has done a much better job scouting. Didn't see the early expansion, and there it is from EGIdra. So he's going to be going a pretty heavy macro build. Got that spawning pool up. Before the hatchery actually, so it's not too early. Got that gas up, not really using it, so it's going to be pretty mineral heavy to begin, as is Rosowy actually. He's not using his gas either, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see him expand. Which would be interesting. Not too out of the blue, or too crazy rather, for a Terran to expand, and it looks like we have a command center coming up, so yep. And now we see some Zerglings trying to make a move, and they are going to get stopped cold by that Terran wall. And we see this factory moving in actually to use this reactor, and he's got 2 Hellions coming up, and those are units that only use minerals. So he's going to be just cranking out Hellions, it looks like, for a little while, using them to harass. They got pretty good speed, and EGIdra, if he knows, well, when he sees them coming, they haven't been on the field of battle quite yet, he's going to have to get more creep tumors out so that they can't sort of outrun his Zerglings, because they are, Hellions, this is, are deadly against mineral lines, can just absolutely light a flame drones all day long. So you got to be you just got to be careful he doesn't lose too many drones early to these Hellions. We see them going out now. You just bring in this Overlord. Remember, he still doesn't have great vision on what's going on over here, so he really needs to get that Overlord in there. Got another Overlord back here. Just sort of probably check out this expansion here. Wouldn't be too surprised if we see him move it closer into this natural to see when and if Rosowy expands. See 4 Hellions now. Take a quick look at the unit tab. He's got 4 total to EGIdra's 8 Zerglings and 2 queens, so as long as EGIdra does a good job microing, he shouldn't have too much trouble here. He needs to get a creep tumor up though. We see a spine crawler here, going to be good defense against these Hellions, and it's going to make sure the mineral line stays pretty safe. So we got these aliens moving out now. There's 2 more coming in behind. Take a look at the production tab. It looks like he has stopped making them for now. Gonna hang out with 6 for a little bit. You don't want to put too many minerals into these things. They are really heavy on the minerals, and they aren't too great in the late game. So we see this spine collar keeping them away, and here we go. Looks like, oh, EGIdra thinking about engaging, gonna probably wait for a surround. You see a little harass from Rosowy, gonna get that queen. Got it down to 134 health, but it's not going to be enough to kill it. We see EGIdra's going to try and move this spine collar in, which is a very risky move. He should be able to get it down okay, though. And this queen is just holding these off single-handedly, but it is taking some blows. It's down to 61 health now. EGIdra got to be careful. Doesn't want to lose a queen early. Meanwhile, we see this expansion has come down from Rosowy. He's got it saturated pretty quickly. He's starting to use this gas. And we see this Overlord from EGIdra is here now, getting a little bit of scouting in. And these Marines should be able to take care of it, but has he seen what he needs to see? Pretty much everything aside from that natural expansion. He does need to see that quickly, though. Even though he knows he's pretty much alright for this early expansion, he should be fine because, you know, how far can Rosowy expand that early? Very, very highly unlikely that he would go for a third. We are only about 8 minutes in here, so there's very little chance that a Terran player would be taking 3 bases 8 minutes in. So not too much to worry about from Rosowy at this point, despite the fact he doesn't know that the natural's there. See him mining gas now, production coming up. Got a Spire, so we might be seeing some mutes here, as well as a Baneling Nest. See that creep tumor coming down from us, from EGIdra rather, which is going to give his Zerglings good speed, and we see them trying to get us around here, and they got one of those. That's 100 minerals down from Rosowy. He's got to be much more careful with those Hellions, and I really wouldn't be too surprised if we see him sort of stop production there. It looks like he's going into Marine Marauder at this point. Stem Pack and Combat Shield technology coming up for him as we speak, so we should see the Baneling Nest here in this natural, but we should see Marine Marauders coming out of Rosowy, and it looks like he's building a starport as well, so we're going to see medevacs out of that, I would assume. But with those mutes coming, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see him move into a couple of Vikings to provide support, because those Marines do have a difficult time with well-microed mutes. Well, that is difficult to say. But yeah, I don't really think that he's going to go straight medevac. It would sort of behoove him to do it. And now we see a third expansion coming up from EGIdra. Keep in mind this is only 9 or 10 minutes in, but EGIdra is a very heavy macro player, likes to expand, likes to get as many minerals as he can so he can sort of churn out those units as mid and late game arrives. And right now he's going to be in good stead. You see this Evolution Chamber getting those meta level attacks level 1, so we're going to see probably mute Zergling. And he's got a couple of mutes up now. Take a look how many. He's only got 2, but they are going to be a very difficult thing for a Terran player to deal with. If they are microed correctly, they can get to the mineral line. They can do good damage on SCV, so gotta be careful if you're Rosowy at this point. You see them coming down, and it looks like they're gonna be doing just that. You see the Zergling at the Selnaga getting toasted by those Hellions, and yeah, EGIdra very wisely just sort of backing off. He knows time's on his side as long as he keeps his expansions. You see he's spreading good creep, although he has been swept here. A good sweep from Rosowy, seeing that this is coming up from EGIdra, and you see EGIdra very intelligently moving his forces here to protect it. See, the Hellions are in, these Zerglings are here though, and these mutes are as well. So he's got to sort of try and get us around with these Zerglings, and the Banelings are coming in, and they are exploding all over those Hellions. They're going to get a ton of stuff with those Banelings. Great move there. We see these medevacs coming in. It's going to be too late though. I think these Zerglings coming in. He gets all the mutes though, but it got a good surround with those Banelings, and it's just going to eat a lot of stuff there. Rosowy getting those medevacs actually, and actually getting a lot of them out of there. Excuse me. So he's able to pull a couple of units out of there. Very good move from Rosowy, sort of conserving what he's got and knowing when he's beaten, just sort of backing off for now. EGIdra losing some of those mutes, but we take a look at his unit tab. He's got 4 now, so they were quickly respawned, if you will, although this is not a shooter, of course, but essentially that is what he has done. And with those 4 bases, it's going to be really easy for him to do that. We see a good spread of creep, by the way. If we take a look at the mini-map for EGIdra, always important to get a good creep spread if you are Zerg, so that your units can use that benefit to their advantage. We see him also spreading some creep down over here at this base. Not sure if he's going to try and take that. We see the mutes harassing here. Just doing a little damage on these barracks. And there are missile turrets up now, and they should be able to get at least one of those mutes, and the other 2 are backing off for now, as well as the third. We take a look at the units tab. He's got 8 now, with 3 more coming in terms of those mutes, and I don't know, it's going to be difficult at this point for Rosowy. He's going to be on the defensive here, and let's take a look at what he's up to actually. You should see that he's got the the tech to build Vikings, but he's choosing not to right now, keeping with that Marine Marauder. Can't really blame him, but we see he's morphing another hatchery in right here for the added Zergling larva. So we will see to what extent that comes into play. See a couple of banelings coming up for him now. We see another sweep at this third expansion from Rosowy, and this is definitely where he's going to be attacking most of the game. It looks like he has been sweeping this twice now, very quickly, only about 13 minutes into the game, so that sort of tells me that that's where he's thinking about going, and it should tell EGIdra the same thing, and he's got a pretty good force here. These banelings, if you can get them in correctly, are going to just wreak havoc on these Marine Marauders. Rosowy's got to do a good job microing. He's got a good amount of medevacs, though. He's got 7 of them, so as long as he can sort of keep this game in the position he wants it to be, which is at range right now, he's going to be fine, and he's got to make sure he micros down these mutes. There are a lot of mutes here. Has to be said. Take a look at the unit tab. There are 14 of them, 13 banelings, so a pretty good force here from EGIdra. He has the mineral advantage at this point, clearly. Take a look at the income tab really quickly. A very clear mineral advantage, and here we see these mutes coming in to the Xel'Naga here, killing what was there, and they should be moving. We see Rosowy taking this high yield now, and sort of spreading out his Marines a little bit. You can't really afford to be doing that, although that Xel'Naga does give him good sight. He needs to be careful. We see the Zerglings coming in now, and a 4th expansion going up from EGIdra. He is just all about the expansions right now, and here we go. These Zerglings coming in, and you see this force, and they're going for it. The banelings getting meshed up in there. I mean, he's got to be very careful, because here come the banelings, and EGIdra just, oh my god, the baneling bust just wreaking havoc on that ground force, and Rosowy losing all sorts of units right now. He's got to be much more careful with his units, and these mutes are doing a good job getting the Marines down, and man, oh man, is he in trouble. But he's got a planetary fortress coming in, and that's going to play a role if these Zerglings try to get in here, but they are just absolutely destroying what's up with these Marauders. We see them trying to come in, get these missile turrets, because this is all the defense he has against these mutes right now, and they can't get them. Actually, the planetary fortress is doing a great job toasting these Zerglings up. He's going to lose one of those missile turrets, but right now he has no more coming, and there's no anti-air here, so EGIdra pretty much allowed to do whatever he wants to right now in terms of these mutes. You see this command center being repaired by pretty much everything that Rosowy's got here. He's bringing them all in to repair. Rosowy bringing in some reinforcements now. Will it be enough? These mutes are just wreaking havoc on everything, but they are getting plummeted, just picked apart right now, and Rosowy with a nice save of pretty much what would have to be said is the game right now. Just saved the game for himself, but in terms of expansions, it is looking pretty much inevitable at this point, because good god, there are 4 expansions here, 5 hatcheries at least. Take a look at the layers. How many layers does he have? We got 1, 2, no, just 1 actually. But there are a lot of hatcheries here and a lot of units. There are 30 Zerglings up, ready to roll, 6 banelings literally ready to roll, and 12 mutes, as well as looks like an infestation pit coming up for EGIdra. So he is in a very, very good position, and I think Rosowy knows he needs to counterattack right now, because he is in some serious trouble, although he does have this high yield saturated. And keep in mind that EGIdra does not have a high yield, but we take a look at the income tab. It is still very one-sided. Actually, it's not. I'm sorry. EGIdra's actually fallen behind a little bit here. Does he not have this? That high yield playing a very good role in keeping those minerals coming, but in terms of gas, Rosowy's actually behind by about half. So, but we take a look here. Here come the mutes doing a great job getting in behind these medevacs, and the banelings once again just absolutely steamrolling through everything Rosowy has. And good god, Rosowy not doing a good job microing his Marine Marauder balls, and you have to spread them out a little bit better than that if you are facing against banelings, because god, they will just absolutely destroy them, and that is what happens when you don't do it. So that medevac is going to get toasted. We see a very, very small force from Rosowy, looking very sad at this point. All he's got is 20 Marines, 3 Marauders versus 16 Zerglings, 11 mutes. So, and looks like, what do we got here? 11 banelings coming up as well. Yeah, here we go right there. And I'm surprised we haven't seen Vikings actually at this point from Rosowy. He needs some sort of anti-air to get those mutes down quicker, because the Marines are not getting the job done. They're just getting absolutely smoked by the banelings. And you see a lot of missile turrets from Rosowy, a couple more at his main